So today we're going to make blackened salmon over pasta. And tonight we're using a rice pasta for those gluten-free people in the world. Everything here is gluten-free. We have salmon. We have tri-colored bell peppers. We have garlic, and we have our blackening spices. I'm going to just mention them real quick. Here we have onion powder, garlic powder. We have paprika. We have cayenne, salt, pepper. We have oregano and thyme that I pre-measured out for a few recipes. So this is probably for more than what we'll use tonight. You can make a big batch of it and then save it. It'll keep forever. But always taste your spices once you get them mixed, just to make sure it's got the right enough heat for you. You can always add more of the cayenne if you want it a little hotter. If you want it less hotter, then once it's all together, it's hard to take it out. So little at a time and add more. Okay. So we're just going to mix this up, and then we're going to taste it and make sure it's correct. If I need to add a little bit more garlic powder or onion powder or something like that. And as I'm doing this, I'm kind of breaking up that thyme and that oregano, and I can smell them because I'm breaking it up with my fingertips as I'm kind of like rolling it around in them. This really helps your spices come out. And then I'm just going to taste my finger and taste my spices. There is plenty of heat in there, which is exactly what I want. Now I have this beautiful piece of salmon right here. I will link the video into how to cut your own salmon from a full salmon loin to this video because it saves you a ton of money. And you can, depending on the size of the salmon loin, you can get anywhere from 6 to 8 pieces out of it. If you get the belly portion, save that, cut that off separately, and use it for different recipes. And I'll link some of those eventually, or I'll post some of those, I should say, eventually to my YouTube page because you can use them for lunch. They're really pretty. You can use them for appetizers too. Okay. So I'm going to grab another plate here. I've already turned on my pan, my cast iron skillet, and I've got my water going. That's key, so that this dish is super quick. So I've got about a tablespoon there of extra virgin olive oil, and I can see my water is boiling, so which is fabulous. I'm going to grab my kosher salt, and I'm going to salt the water liberally here. And then I'm going to add my noodles. Be careful, don't overcook your rice noodles. They're already kind of cut, so you don't need to break them up. And we're just doing one portion, so I'm going to eyeball that right about there and just let them go. And cook them to package direction, maybe even undercook them because you're going to put them in your sauce and toss them around in that to kind of finish. So 4 to 6 minutes, that's it. And it is here. So we'll just kind of give them a little stir. I like to use a wooden spoon on top of my pot of water to keep it from overflowing. Now for the blackening seasoning, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that to my olive oil, maybe a pinch more. And we're going to get that in the oil and just get it nice and wet. Move it around. Take our salmon and coat it liberally on both sides. Here. Salmon doesn't take too long to cook, so I'm going to set that to the side. we're going to get out our sausage here. And use our kitchen shears for that. Now that this water is boiling, I can turn it down a bit. And I won't need to use all of this. This is Cajun style, so it's andouille sausage that's been smoked. And sometimes it's kind of hard to find, but keep looking because it's really good stuff. Cut of the diagonal. If you like less heat, use less of the cayenne. If you like more heat, you can use a little bit more. But the andouille sausage will add some too. It's probably about all that we'll need, about a fourth of the whole thing. And we're going to set that up here to the side because we want our pan to get hot. And we'll work on our peppers. I take them and just cut around the core, trying to not have any of that white pith from the inside of the pepper. There, it looks like I got some here and there, but just cut that out. Okay, probably won't use all of this pepper. Put that in our trash bowl. You can freeze your bell peppers if you're not going to use them right away. They freeze really well. And it's cheaper than buying frozen, honestly. If you're buying fresh for a recipe, use it for the recipe. You could have halved them and used the other halves for stuffed peppers. And then we're just going to give these a quick little run through with a knife. Julienne, keeping my fingers tucked always. That first knuckle of your middle finger usually is out further. That's your guide. We need a little bit. There we go. That's perfect. A nice little mixture there of colors. That one's a little thick. That one's a little thick. Okay. We're going to check that pasta because it's been about 5 minutes. And it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to take a little taste. It's a little bit longer. Still kind of chewy. So I'm going to let it go for another 2 minutes or so. And we'll check it. Finish it with some fresh parsley and a lemon wedge. So we're just going to pull some of this off. Not a whole lot because it's just for garnish. And give it a quick little run through with a knife. And set that aside. We're going to do my other favorite thing, and that's smack some garlic. Here. Going to run our knife through that. Make sure to take off that end. Throw it in the trash bowl. Run that knife through it. Be careful not to get your fingers. Okay. You're going to place it down, leave it alone, turn it once. Want a little bit of color on it. Shouldn't take too long. It's already starting to brown, so I'm just going to quickly flip it. Give it a little bit more time. Like I said, this is a very quick dish to make. And the time you flip it once, you probably have to take it out of the pan. Start back where you left off. Start back where you started. That pasta is al dente, so I'm going to pull it. I'm going to pull it quick, set it back on the pot. Some of that's going to drain in there, and it'll leave me just enough liquid to add to my sauce if I need to. Sausage is done. I'm just going to pull it out right quick and set it on our landing plate for a hot minute or two. I'm going to take that salmon and lay it presentation side down first. It's very important because that's going to get the best sear. Let it go. Again, I'm not going to touch it either. I'm going to let it cook on that side. Whew, you can smell those spices for sure on that. I'm going to turn down our eye just a little bit. We can go ahead and add some of our onions in here. They'll just help flavor it. Just put it around your salmon. And our peppers. Woo, baby. Gotta love cayenne cooking. In the kitchen, in the chef's kitchen, when you were doing this, it doesn't get to us that much because we have big old hoods above us. Near as bad as it does at home. And I don't have a fan or a vent on because I want you to be able to hear me. A little onion trying to escape there. I can start to see the opaqueness of the fish changing colors coming up the sides. Just exactly what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and flip that over. You can see what it looks like. And set it back down. There we go. That's a nice close-up. As you can see, the bubbles are starting to get a little bigger, which is what we're looking for. Just let it keep bubbling. You can add a little fish stock if you'd like. I'm going to add some white wine. This wine is from Pinot Grigio from A to Z Wineries in Oregon. I was up there for a wedding for my daughter several years ago and tasted it and fell in love with it. So you can see that it's picked up some of that natural pink color from the spices. However, we're going to taste the sauce and see if it needs some more. And I believe it can take a little bit more, so we're going to put a little bit more in there. And we'll make it a little bit pinker. Let that sauce cook down a little bit. If you don't want to use wine, use chicken stock or fish stock or vegetable stock. Either one of those will be fine in the sauce. We're just going to give it another little taste. Our garlic is in there, our peppers, our onions, heavy cream, and white wine. That's it. That's how simple the sauce is. The heavy cream and the wine gives it a little bit of sweetness along with those peppers. It's beautiful colors there. We're going to throw our andouille sausage back in here. Give it a little stir. We're going to take our pasta that we did, and we're going to throw that in and coat it really well. And let it just kind of finish in there. As you can see, the pasta is already kind of soaking up that sauce. And that's what we want. I'm going to turn this off and grab our plate. That's about a serving size. We'll add a few more peppers and sausage. We'll garnish that with a little parsley here. And we'll take that blackened salmon and set it right on top. Grab our lemon. We're going to give it a quick wash. And we're just going to cut a nice little lemon wheel. So much prettier for presentation. But you can use a lemon wedge. That's okay. I've done that before too. And then a little bit more parsley right on top of that. Really stands out. And that's the dish. Gluten-free blackened salmon